Hey everybody, so I voiced this over and I totally forgot to press record on the video so that you could see my face actually doing the voicing and whatever reactions I had. So what I'll do is I'll give you a quick intro right now. My buddy, he gave me his Cannondale F6 to fix up for him, and I don't think he's ridden it for a really long time because there were missed shifts and the brake arms were kind of seized up. So what I did here is I just brought it down to the car wash, made sure the water got really hot, and hopefully that's going to unseize any problems, and it'll definitely clean things up because my wife really hates it when I bring dirty bikes into the apartment. So without further ado, I'll just let you watch what I actually recorded. So there we go, Cannondale F6. We'll just take a quick peek here. It's missing a grip, so I guess it's been a while since he's used this thing. Shimano group. Looks pretty good, you know, but we won't know for sure until I bring it upstairs. And there's my new apprentice. I guess he's not so new anymore. He's getting to work. He's checking out a wheel there, and you know, he's a cat after my own heart. All right. So again, Cannondale F6. I guess this is like a, you know, an early 2000s mountain bike or whatever. Yeah, Shimano group set. Looks pretty good. I took that grip off because it's all like weird, just kind of like goopy. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. So there are 3x8 shifters, and you got Cannondale levers, whatever. They're just going to be like rebrands. And like I said, one of the arms was kind of, well, one of the arms on both the brakes were kind of seized, and the hot water has kind of loosened them up. And we have a Formula hub there. Again, we got the RockShox darts. I don't know. I don't really know the quality. The wheel's rubbing a little bit on the brakes there. And again, like, I'm gonna have to center these brakes, so hopefully we won't have to take them off and I can just, you know, center them up. And we got a Shimano crank. I guess it's just, you know, run of the mill. I don't see any good markings on there. We got an Alivio rear derailleur. Now, here's what I was kind of talking about. It's missing some of the shifts here, and I was hoping that the hot water would maybe loosen up the derailleur or the chain or whatever it is that's kind of bunging it up. I don't really know, so, you know, worst comes to worst, I'll just have to change the cable. But if you don't have to do something, don't do it. And again, like, you can see, yeah, the hot water kind of loosened up the brakes here on the rear, and it wasn't like that before. One of the brake arms was really stuck. So, and we're just gonna see here after the hot water, yeah, the seat post moves. I'm not gonna move it because I think he stores it inside. I don't really think I need to grease it. And the seat's a little worn there, I guess from leaning. So we're just gonna move on over to the derailleur and see what's going on here. Like the shifting's, like I was saying, it was kind of bunged up. Like now it's not even, now the chain's not even dropping. So I'm just gonna mess with it here, just kind of move it around. I haven't put any oil or anything like that on it. I just want to find out what the problem is. And honestly, I think it's just because it's been sitting for so long that everything's just kind of seized up. And the chain was able to drop like, you know, about 3 or 4 cogs, but you know, it's stuck there. Now, I've seen this before, but you know, I'm not really sure exactly what it is. There's a very good chance that it's just the cable, like there's probably grease in the housing and it's just kind of bunged up. So I was able to get the chain down to the lowest cogs here just by kind of moving it around. But again, I don't think that's going to be good. That's definitely not going to be good enough for a tune-up. So we can see that it's climbing up here, but it's getting kind of stuck. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to have to take it apart here. Maybe if I loosen off the derailleur, barrel adjuster, maybe it'll drop a little bit better. I don't know. You just kind of try all these things first and just see what happens before you start taking everything apart. Now again, I'm going to have to take the cable out and see what's going on here. So, you know, just loosen off the pinch bolt. I'm not seeing anything, like it's kind of stuck. It's kind of stuck in there. And I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Like, it's just stuck in the housing. And hopefully, like, it's a big one-piece housing. And hopefully I don't have to change that because housing, it's not so cheap to come by anymore. Can't really buy the boxes for cheap. I I remember buying boxes there off Bezos Bargain Bin, and they were cheap, you know, like in the $20 range. So here we go. I just kind of clipped it, and I'm gonna see if I can move it. And you can just see like the cable's not moving in the housing. So with any luck, it's just the cable's just gummed up in there, and maybe a new cable will work, you know, with some fresh grease. Now I did this here just to kind of show you how this is all clipped in. Like there's these like little clips, and they just kind of fit in. And really, I've never seen those before. But if you ever come across these and you just don't want to have all that extra work, like they just kind of slip in, but if you don't want all that extra work, then don't take them out. There, you can see there that cable is just stuck in there, and I was reefing on it, and it just wasn't coming out. So I'm just going to change the cable. I don't really know. I don't know what the problem was, but I'm just going to put a new cable in. I'm going to see how it slides here on the ends of the old housing, and you can see that one side's bent there, so maybe that was part of the problem. I noticed that the housing was a little bit longer than it needed to be, and that works out perfectly because I just cut that nib off, and I'll just use the awl, open it up a little bit, and there it slides in, and then I'll just put a new ferrule on, and the housing should be perfectly good to go. Okay, so it's not really hard to put these things back in. Like it took me a little bit. I tried to like push them in, like force them in to the little bosses there, but that's not how you do it. You just kind of like, they're kind of ovalized, so you just slide them in and twist them. It took me a little bit, you know, a little trial and error, but I've never worked on these. I've never seen these before, so, you know, live and learn, right? So you watch my stuff and you can see that if you ever come across these, there's a much easier way than trying to force everything in. And now I've checked the length of the housing, and it's great. I'm gonna just grease the cable here, slide it in through the shifter. And like I said, I'm gonna try to grease it very, very evenly. So then that way, there won't be any gumming. Plus I use this cheaper grease. It's like this cheap Canadian Tire grease that you used to be able to get for like a couple bucks. It's nice and thin, and it really just won't gum up. The cable slid right through the housing. That was perfect. Like, you can't ask for anything better than that. I'm always wary of these like big one-piece housings, but you know, if that's what you got, that's what you got. There's no cable stop, so I can't really shorten the housing at all. So what I'm gonna do is just tighten the cable onto the rear derailleur, and just make sure that it slides in under the pinch pole, and just twist her in. Now I'm going to go relatively tight because I know that it's going to loosen up, because there's always going to be a reason why it loosens up. And in this case here, what had happened is the ferrule at the shifter side just kind of popped out. So, you know, it didn't shift very well. It's kind of hard to see, but you know, around the middle, the chain just wasn't shifting gears properly. Like it was kind of just like rolling over. I guess I didn't really show it here. There, you can kind of see it was just rolling over the next cog, and that's not what we're looking for. So I went through the motions here, and you know, I tried out the barrel adjuster like one turn just to make sure and see if that was the problem. And really the problem, like I said, it was just a ferrule in the shifter. So, you know, I wasted a lot of time here, and I guess I'm wasting your time. I guess I'm wasting your time now too. So I was able to get it up to the top, and everything dropped well. So I'm just going to loosen off the barrel adjuster here, and I'm just going to make sure that I only tighten it up enough so that it starts to move up the cog, because I don't want it too tight. Like you could turn it about 100 times, and you know, it'd work really well shifting down like all the way up to the big cog. But as soon as you try to shift upward to the smaller cog, the chain just won't fall off. And then, you know, you got to find that sweet spot, and doing it this way is just so much easier. That way you find that like I said, the sweet spot, and the chain climbs, and then it drops properly. You can see here, it takes a little bit. Sometimes it's really quick, sometimes it's not. There's nothing you can do. You just go through the motions until you figure it out. Now I know the chain, like some people would just change that because there's a bit of surface rust on there, but all that is just oxidization. Like it's just from sitting. You can see there's some on the big cog too. That doesn't mean that the chain is worn. So that's something that you should be wary of. You know, if you can explain a little of the science of oxidization to people, you know, you can save them a lot of money, and you can also save yourself a lot of time and trouble. as you can see here, I loosened it off and tightened it up a little bit because the cable had slipped, so I need that extra tension on there. And you can see that it's climbing now, and everything's good. Now, the cable slipped a little bit only because there was that extra slack because the ferrule wasn't in the shifter properly. And that's my error, and I admit to it, and that's how you fix it. It's as simple as that. You just identify and rectify the problem. And you can see, like in the middle here, it's a little bit worn. I don't think that's the chain. I think it's actually just one of the cogs that's really worn out because my buddy there, the rider, was probably just always sitting in that one gear. So I guess every bike is kind of like a single speed. All right, so I think I found the sweet spot here. Yeah, everything's shifting well. It's shifting up to the big cog, and it's shifting down properly. So it means I didn't tighten up the barrel adjuster too much, and there's enough slack so that the chain drops properly. Okay, that's big thumbs up there, and we'll just move back here to the brakes. I'm just gonna check the pads. Like, they look like they're really, really thin, but I think that's just the pad. Like, I don't see any abnormal wear here. Like, there's some, but it's not abnormal, and it's all really, really level. So I think that's just the pad. It's probably just those like slimline, really hard pads. And I'm checking here, and I'm just not seeing brake dust. That black stuff that goes onto the rim just from wear of the brake pads, and I think it's all good. So all I'm going to do here is just center the brake arms, and you can see here I'm just tightening it up on one side and loosening it a little bit on the other side, and we'll see if we get the arms perfectly centered. And that looks pretty centered to me. Like, I don't think you need much more than that. That looks great. It's always that easy to center the arms. Now, I know there was a problem before because the wheel wasn't actually in the drums. So the brakes were rubbing, but you know, I fixed that. I'm not going to show it. And on the front brakes here, it was the same thing. Now, some guys will take it all apart or whatever, and you know, there's a big problem, change the pads. It's got to be the pads, right? No, the springs are just like metal. So sometimes they just, one of them overstretches or whatever. In this case here, the arms were simply just kind of seized up from sitting around a lot. And who knows, maybe they were just never centered properly. I don't really know, but they are now. So I'm just going to pump up the tires here. You can see I got it up to about 60 PSI. I did the same thing for the front, and I'm just going to put on these new grips. Now, here's the thing. These grips here, they don't come with plugs. So I kind of have to figure something out here. So first of all, I'm just going to put these on, and I have these extra plugs here from drop bars. I was able to slide them in like no problem. Sometimes drop bar plugs don't fit into flat bars, but these ones kind of did with a good bang, and they're kind of these ones with the wedge inside, so they should hold pretty good. That one there, perfect. Now, his crank was missing these crank bolt covers, so I replaced them, and he was missing valve caps on the tubes, and one of those like valve things there. So I'm just going to oil it up here. All I'm doing is I'm just using some mineral oil because I don't think it really needs that much. The hot water loosened everything up, and you know, I'm just going to put a little bit on here. I suppose if he wants to oil it himself, he can, but I don't really think it's necessary. Everything was working fine, and if anything, it worked a lot better once I oiled the chain. Now I'm just going to work in the oil into the derailleurs here. I didn't show the front one because, you know, whatever. So basically all I did here on this Cannondale F6 is replaced, well, I basically installed grips. I centered the brakes. Didn't need to change the pads, they were good. I changed the rear derailleur cable. I just kind of clipped a piece of the housing. Still fit perfectly fine. You can see there that it's moving perfectly well. I put these covers over the bolts on the crank. I oiled up the front derailleur, oiled the chain. I oiled the rear derailleur, and there's the new cable. Just kind of put a cable end on there, and you know, the chain's good. It's still good. He doesn't need to buy a new one yet. And I centered the rear brakes, and everything's running nice and smooth. There you go. I hope this helps you out if you get these old bikes here. You know, just some of the nuances. Like, it's not really anything out of the ordinary, anything special, but you know, it's a Cannondale F6. It's still a Cannondale, and it's totally worth the time that it takes to fix it up. And if you want to see me play with any other bikes, or you know, build me wheels or anything like that, you can click right here. Oh yeah, and I put this bell on.